Center. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Awesome Life Podcast. I'm Karen Stultz, your host, and today I have another awesome guest, Yvette LeFlore. I'm going to put that French accent on it.
There you go.
And that this podcast is for all of you out there who are maybe looking for something a little different. You may be in transition. You may not know where you want to go or what you want to do, or maybe you know exactly where you want to go, but you don't have the resources. You don't have the information. Or maybe you have those mental blocks that say, I can't do that. I cannot do that because I can't make enough money to live. And my guests and I are here to help you recognize that, yes, if it is in your consciousness, that if it has come to your mind, it is possible. And we are here to help you, to guide you, to let you know that your life can be awesome. So I am so excited for you to meet my new dear friend, Yvette LeFlore, as she is an intuitive energy healer. She's a crystal clinician and a Reiki master. She uses Reiki, oils, crystals, and light language as just a few of her tools. Now, does that sound like anyone else you might know? Well, you may not know me, but yes, that's all the tools that are also in the heart energy technique, so you understand where we came from. But her business motto is, when one heals, we all heal. And she feels honored to help people on their journey because she knows the impact of far reaching when we do our work. For some, energy healing is about relaxation. For others, it's direction. And still others, it's a deep dive into peeling away the layers that are keeping us stuck. No matter what work you want to do, Yvette is there to be your partner. So welcome, Yvette. I'm so happy to have you join us today.
Thank you, Karen. It's a pleasure to be here.
So Yvette, tell me, how did you get into this world? Because you were very successful in another business before you started this. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct. I have 28 years with another business, and but it was probably, I don't even know, 10, 12 years ago. I've always been intuitive. Let me just back it up. I was known as one of those sensitive children, and I'm using air quotes right now. I know those who are listening can't see me. Sensitive children who, always cried, and I didn't realize it at the time because I was a child, that I was feeling all the stuff that was happening around me, all the chaos that was happening around me, and doing the best I could to deal with it. But as I became older, always interested in tarot readings and mediumship and all of that, and would go and listen. And one day, about 12 years ago, I woke up with a knowing that I needed to go see a particular person for reading. I knew it had to be her, and I knew it needed to be that day. And so I reached out, made the appointment, went, and she was shuffling the tarot cards. She put them down. She said, put your hands on it, ask your question. She put her hands on top of mine. She looked at me and she said, do you do Reiki? And I said, well, yeah, I go once a month and I get it. She said, no, do you do it? I said, no, you need to. Well, and I figured if I woke up knowing that I needed to see her and she gave me that direct message, that was what I needed to do. And thus began my trail of Reiki and energy healing and developing my intuition and connecting with spirit and crystals and animals and all of the things.
That is amazing. Yeah, isn't it interesting when we allow ourselves to be guided, to follow through? without judgment about or planning of where it's going to go or what it's going to do. So that is so interesting, because Reiki is an energy work, just
Yeah.
one type
Just,
of energy
yeah.
work. And now you are a Reiki master
Yes.
now,
Yep. Yep.
and so you're able to in tune other people
Yeah.
to have it.
Yeah.
So what do you think about all the other energy work that does not include Reiki? I mean,
I think, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no. I have my own
I think,
thoughts about it.
oh, okay. I, I think it's just another path to the same um, result, which is helping people balance their energy, move through what's blocking them, become unstuck, reach their goals, help them, get in touch with their soul's desire so that they can live their best and most vibrant life. So I think that, whatever path people choose, whatever tools are used, energy that comes from source and love is energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess that's pretty much it. We all have that power because we're energy, right? We're,
Yes.
we're, we're vibrational. Everything is vibrational energy. Our our bodies, the chair we're sitting in, the house we're living in, it's all vibrational energy. And if the vibrations were put into a different pattern, it would be a different thing.
Yeah.
And so recognizing that we are that energy, I have to admit, and I'm not putting it down because I really appreciate the Reiki masters, but I have this little I don't know what you would call it inside of me, rebellion or something. I don't know. And I did my Reiki, and I only did Reiki one. Yeah, Reiki one. And basically, I wanted to take care of my dog. A friend of mine, I called up, she's a Reiki master. I called her up and said, look, I know you're able to help animals, and can I bring my dog over because she is sick. She's so sick. And indeed, oh my gosh, I was getting a little scared because my dog, who never shakes, was shaking up a storm with her touching him. And I said, yeah, that is so bizarre. And she just sat there and did Reiki on the dog. And the dog hopped up, raced out, hadn't been able to move fast at all, raced out of the building and was right as rain. And I said, dang, I have to learn this stuff just for my dog.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to the first Reiki level one, and it was wonderful. And then I thought, wait a minute, you're intuning me? No, I got it inside of me. I just needed to learn how to use it. I don't need an attunement from somebody else to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
I have it inside of me, and I can do it now because you've shown me how I'm supposed to. And so I never went back. Is the
Okay.
bottom line.
Okay.
But I am open to the idea that um, there might be more to it than what I was seeing. I went into a different direction of using like Donna Eden energy and my own healing energy that I started playing with. I heard this works. I wonder if I can do that. And oh my gosh, it works.
Well, I believe anyone that's listening to this podcast has it in them. I believe that we all do. But just like any anything we learn, there's some that can connect to it themselves and some that need facilitation. There are some people who, I work with crystals. There's some people who can pick up the crystals and feel the energy and they get the message. And then there's some people who need to learn how to do that. And so as a Reiki master, as I help others and attune others and train and develop others, oftentimes it's about helping people boost their confidence because they don't have what you had. And so I think that's, when I mastered, it's a funny story. I had no intention of teaching others. I was like, I am not doing this to teach others. I'm doing it because I want the complete package because, I like shiny things and the third level was a shiny thing. And so I wanted to complete, no intention. And then as I was working my practice, I had clients say, are you going to teach this? Could you teach me? I'm like, universe, I did not want this. And the universe was like, let me send you a third person to ask. So thus began the teaching of Reiki.
I love that. And yeah, guys, anyone listening here,
Yes.
did you hear what Yvette said? It was absolutely, you got to, if it comes to you 3 times, that's the magic number, 3. You have to listen. You have to listen to it. Take action. When you hear the same thing 3 times, it's time to take action. You may be avoiding it. You may not want it, but anyway, that is absolutely true. And now you also do crystal, I never say it right, divination.
Got it. Yeah.
Oh,
Crystal
yay!
divination. Yeah. That's another.
Tell me about that. Now, I'm like one of the people that you were talking about. I know crystals. I see the evidence of what they can do. And my philosophy is don't believe in it. Just be open and aware of how your life has changed and what are the different things that may have changed in your life so that you can see. And I had my quartz crystal for healing and protection and health and all of that stuff. So yeah, I'll put it in my purse and I'll hang on to it. It isn't going to hurt anything. And
right.
I was cleaning out my purse a couple of years later, and I took out the crystal. I said, I don't need this anymore. And all of a sudden I thought, wait a minute, what is this supposed to be doing? All right, health. I haven't been sick in 2 years. Okay. Well-being, energy. Yeah, all of that's been pretty good. Yeah, I don't know if it's the crystal or not, but it isn't going to hurt me or anybody else. I'm putting it back in my purse. So I still carry my crystals with me. And I have crystals all around my office. And yeah. So tell me more. How do you use them?
Well, first, I call crystals silent supporters because we live in a world where not everybody believes in the energy healing and the modalities that you and I use. And so crystals are a way that people can go into the workplace. They can be in front of their family. If their family doesn't believe what they do, they can go through their day without a big sign that says, I believe in the spiritual world, or I'm woo-woo, or whatever it is. And they can wear the crystal or put it in, I've coined the word rocket, which is your bra pocket, or your pocketbook or whatever. And you have that support. And because crystals are natural, our body recognizes the energy healing of crystals. And because we're made of minerals, there's a symbiotic relationship between ourselves and crystals. And so I use them, I wear them. In fact, I'm wearing them right now. But I also use them during my energy healing sessions. So I'll intuitively pick crystals, or I'll have clients pick crystals to bring onto the table with them. Or if we're doing distance, I'll put it on the table while I'm doing a distance session. And I also do a crystal energy healing where we pick a crystal per chakra. And what's really fascinating about that is I can have a client pick 7 different crystals, and we find out that 4 of them support the base chakra. Even though it was a crystal for the heart, it was the safety and security of the heart, or it was the safety and security of their throat chakra. And so I'm able to give them a big picture of what they're working on by utilizing those crystals. And then the last way I use crystals is through crystal divination. And that was when I talked about shiny new things, I went to a weekend retreat in October last year. And I can still picture myself. I was driving over the railroad track at the time, and I said to my spirit guides, I said, please, I like shiny new things. Only bring me what it is that I am supposed to add to my practice. Because there were lots of options there. And crystal divination was what they brought me. So it's using a bag of crystals. It's like a tarot reading, but with crystals. I have a grid. There's a bag of crystals. We pull a certain number out, and we only use the crystals that are left. They get tossed on the grid, and the grid has 13 areas, and I read based on where the crystals fall. And it's pure because there's no pictures, there's no words. It's just the crystals. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I do a crystal divination for the collective once a month, and that's on my YouTube channel. So people, if they want to experience it, like, okay, I heard Yvette say this, but what does this look like? You can go to my YouTube channel, which is Healing with Yvette, and check out the crystal divination for the collective.
That is definitely cool. That is
Yeah.
so cool. So if somebody wanted to have that done as an individual, are you able to do that long distance? Are you able to
Yes.
do it over Zoom? Yeah.
Yes. I have 3 options: in person, over Zoom in person, where people, in both of those instances, there's a conversation that happens. And the third option is I just do a recording and I send it to you. So you tell me, I tell you there's 23 crystals. I need you to take 8 out. So you give me numbers 1 through 23, pick 8 numbers. I pull those crystals out. I line them up. I just pull them out, use the crystals that are left, throw them on the grid, and do the reading. And the emails I get back from people is, oh my gosh, that was spot on. I don't know how you knew that, which I know the crystals do.
That is so cool. I'm going to have to take you up on that offer. That is
it's
so
great,
cool.
Karen. It's great.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And I love the fact that you also do animal messaging. So tell me more about that.
Well, people, we all connect to spirit differently. Angel numbers is the most common for people. You had mentioned 3 times. If you see something or hear something 3 times, it's time to take action. Angel numbers 11, 11, 20, 22, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are, I think, a real great gateway for most people because they see them and they're like, oh, wait, I'm seeing that over and over again. I get lots of messages from animals. It seems to be one of the main ways that spirit connects to me. I'll be thinking about something and contemplating, and then all of a sudden an animal will show up. I'm like, okay, what message do you have for me? And sometimes I get the message right then and there. Sometimes I have to look up. I use Ted Andrews. Animals Speak, an amazing resource for animal messages.
So we're talking about spirit animals at this point, not
Physical animals. Physical animals show up. Oh yeah.
No. But I mean, these are the spirit animals speaking to you because the physical animals are showing up for you.
Yeah. Yes, you can say that.
As opposed to my dog is sick.
Oh, okay.
Is wrong. Yeah.
Now I know what you're asking me. Yeah, we have animals in our lives every day, right? We have birds in our life. Well, I'll use birds for example. Birds in our life, and birds are one of my main messengers. And they're around me all the time, but there are times I was having a conversation with somebody about a new job, for example, and we were talking about this new job, and she was asking me about crystals to use, and all of a sudden, this Carolina wren showed up on my windowsill and it had been pouring that day, and it's drenched, and its feathers are just like clinging to it, and it's at my window, and it's singing, and it's looking in, and it's singing, and I'm like, what does Carolina Wren mean? So I look it up, and Carolina Wren is all about new beginnings. And so here I am talking about someone about changing her job and the new beginning of a new job and what crystals to use. And the Carolina Wren is supporting this conversation. So it's when the unexpected shows up. You're all of a sudden, I'm walking down a path. My husband and I were on a hike, and I look and I see it was a rat snake coming out of a hole in a tree about 4 feet up, and it was on its way down the tree. And I am not a fan of snakes, but I knew as I was watching it, I said, okay, you got a message for me. And this was when I was in a huge transformational period in my life. And there was Mother Nature just confirming, like, it's not going to be easy because the shedding of the skin is not comfortable. But I was shedding a skin and I was moving on. And there was that confirmation, that affirmation. And so I encourage people to be aware of the animals. So it's not every day you see the squirrel in the yard, but is it the squirrel that comes up on your windowsill and looks in at you? Then it's something. Or is it the owl that flies across your windshield at night when you're driving? Or is it, all of a sudden a flock of turkeys shows up in your backyard and you've never seen a flock of turkeys? Those are the things to take note of. And you can look it up on Google. You can, get yourself Ted Andrews Speaks as a resource. But for me, the way spirit works through energy is when you do a search on the internet, the first couple of answers that come up are the ones that spirit wants you to note, because spirit works through energy very easily, electricity.
As long as they're not sponsored.
Yes. Good point. Good point. And now we have all of that AI stuff on top, right? So you've got to scroll below that. Scroll below that. Karen, that's a great point. Thank you for yes, I will add that into when I have that conversation with people. Good point.
But you're absolutely right. It is so cool, and I can hear spirit with us right now, and it's kind of cool coming through loud and clear. We have to do something more together, Yvette. The last time we spoke, you mentioned a deer that showed up for you.
Oh, this was the weekend that I found out about crystal divination. This amazing. Oh my gosh, I live in a cul-de-sac. So there's lots of houses around. There's people and dogs that walk our street all the time. And it was a 6 or 8 point buck. I don't remember. I have a picture of him. He was glorious in all his beauty. Sat down in front of our living room window, and he was looking in the window, and it's raining out, and he's just like glistening with the rain, and I'm going to get emotional. I'm standing in the window looking at him, he's looking at me, and it was so profound to have that moment with him. Minutes. He was there for a long time. And it was the weekend that I was finding crystal divination. I was moving into something new. I was, growing, right? Which is the antlers, the growing, developing. And he was gorgeous. He was gorgeous.
It was amazing, because you do not live in the middle of the woods like I do. So that really is amazing. So the deer with a male deer with the antlers would be for growth, and I love it when I see a deer. It doesn't always happen, even though I do live in the woods. So
I think we're more prone to see them in developments because we've taken away their natural land.
Yeah.
So but oh my gosh, I'd never had that opportunity. And then a little bit later, when I went down into what I call my spirit room, which is where I do my work, he was out in the back lawn behind there. And he was there for, I was down there for a good hour. He was sitting there, and then he got up and he shook himself off, and that water went flying back and forth. It was just, I just felt so honored to have that connection and be in that presence. And yeah, and I'll tell your listeners something that is the more gratitude you give, the more you receive. So when I receive messages, I am just effusively gracious and thanking, and then it opens up for more messages because I'm saying, I see you. Thank you.
Yeah. So true. It's so true. Being able to say thank you for everything.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for the stoplight. Thank you for the animals that you see. Thank you for the sunshine. Thank you for the birds that come to your window and come in and speak to you and sing to you. I had a hummingbird yesterday. We feed the hummingbirds, and that's all we do feed in the summertime. So we're used to having them buzz us and whatnot. And it was comical the other night. I was sitting out and I had let the hummingbird food empty. And I'm sitting there reading my book out on the deck. And all of a sudden, this bird comes up within about 3 feet of me. And I had my eyes kind of closed reading the book. And I heard the bird come up real close and just look at me.
Yep.
Looking at me. And I said, okay, what's going on? Oh, I haven't fed you. I'm so sorry. So I went and fed them. But last night, it was the same thing. We were sitting out there with my husband and I, but it was different. They did have food. But the bird came up, and we have a net around a gazebo, to keep the insects out. So we're inside of this netted gazebo. And the bird came up and flew behind me and just stayed there and stared at me. It was so interesting. Now you are reminding me, I need to look that up, unless you have any idea of why a hummingbird is staring at me. I thought, well, maybe they're thinking that orange is red. I don't know, but
well, I will humbly admit I do not have them all memorized. So I did a quick search, like I just told you while you were talking. And the hummingbirds are believed to bring the message that joyful days are near and they're sending healing light.
oh my gosh, thank you, Sarah. Yeah, I feel it right. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So cool.
So you are surrounded by joy with all of these hummingbirds, right? They're just that healing energy, that joyful, that vibrancy.
It is a pleasure. Anything that can bring you a smile.
Yeah.
And they always do. They are always there. So
Can I want to go back to something you just said about the gratitude and the thankful for the stoplight and the sunshine, and what popped into my head is being thankful for that slow car in front of you. So I just want to, because we're often protected. We're not even aware that we're being protected by the things that slow us down to keep us from something that's up ahead. I wanted to add that to the conversation because it came in.
oh, thank you. Because that's so true. I did have a client once who I was able to inspire with that gratitude, and they were late getting off to a vacation, and they were a little upset. And finally she said, no. Karen said, be thankful for whatever reason. We didn't get off on time, and it's going to be okay. And my attitude is, if it's meant to happen, it will, no matter what's going on. So calm down, don't stress. And so they're driving along, and there was a major car accident that had just happened maybe 10 minutes earlier when they were supposed to be driving.
Wow. Yeah.
So they missed that. And who knows? Maybe that's why they were running late. So again, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. We don't know sometimes, that was evident for them, but we don't know sometimes why things are happening. For me, like I say, they may be something I really am trying to avoid. So I'm going slow.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's meant to happen, it will. And I say that, I may have mentioned this on other episodes. My son, when he was going to England, to move to England, I said, well, I want his last day here to be as fun as can be, and memories of Maine. So we took our dear sweet time, went to LL Bean, went along the coast, stopped at family cemeteries, whole 9 yards. What I didn't take into account was rush hour traffic in Boston. Uh-oh, stand still.
Oh
Now,
my.
an overseas flight, you're supposed to be there 3 hours early. You can do it in 2. Fine. Stop dead traffic.
No.
We were 20 miles from the airport. Absolutely stop dead. And I said, uh-oh, and my son is getting a little antsy. And I'm getting more antsy. And finally, I just said, Karen, and I told my son, I said, if you're supposed to make this plane, you will. And I know it's my doing. I will take responsibility for that, because it was me who wanted you to experience these things. You didn't ask for it.
Right.
It was me. But if you are supposed to get there, you will. And still stop dead traffic. Anyway, we get to the airport about a half an hour before the plane's supposed to leave. Still have to check the bags, still have to get through security. I said, okay, well, I will park the car and you go in, and I will park the car and I will come in. And if you're supposed to be in England, which I wasn't convinced he was supposed to move to England, but that was what he wanted to do. I said, if you're supposed to be there, you will do it. So I parked the car. It took me a matter of 3 or 4 minutes. Went racing in. He's not at the check-in desk. Racing up to the security. And he said, yep. He was through security. He was waving at me. He got on the plane.
Wow.
Okay. So he was meant to be there.
Wow.
And he's been there for a very long time. But it's wonderful too, because he loves Maine. He's still a Mainer, but we get to visit. So it's a win-win situation, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So anyway, but this is about Yvette. And I want people to know how to get in touch with Yvette.
There are several ways, and all of them, I've made it easy. Healing with Yvette I'm on Healing with Yvette on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and my website. So there you go. Healingwithyvette.com, Healing with Yvette, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Haven't delved into other social media platforms at this point. Got enough.
Yeah, focus on the
Yep.
ones that are serving you now, and you don't need to do much more, honestly, at this point in time. So I will have her information in the show notes below, and I truly have enjoyed being with you today, Yvette. Thank you so much. Yvette LeFlore, Healing with Yvette, and she is a remarkable healer. and you can feel her energy coming through even this podcast. And be sure to watch us on YouTube so you can see this beautiful lady and feel her energy coming through on YouTube. And be sure to go to her YouTube channel as well for those crystal divinations.
There you go. Karen, it has been such a pleasure to chat with you, to share ideas, to give information, and to have this energetic connection. Thank you.
Thank you. So until next time, everyone, be awesome. Thank you, Yvette.